Alrighty, we are a little late, but here we are, finally, episode 14, season 3. Feeling a little skirmish today. Alan, always nice to have you. It's me, of course, Ian. This is Radio Reflex, and we are here with our weekly, just banter about what's happening in Flesh and Blood.
Oh yeah, there's plenty to banter about. Although I will explain briefly to everyone why we're in fact late. It's through no fault of Ian. I actually almost I did in fact lock myself out of the studio. And at 6 o'clock, I was deciding to work a little bit late this evening to catch up on some hours, and I was like, 6 o'clock, plenty of time before Ian messages me. I've got ages. So 6:26 pops up, and I'm like, I need to use the bathroom real quick and get back here. And my streaming laptop was updating, and of course, a little while ago, we added some extra security to the office here. And what happened is I went for a particular door. I won't give any details, but I went for a particular door that usually is only secured by the last person who leaves. There's like an extra lock. And unbeknownst to me, somebody else in the office had obviously turned that lock. So when I came to go back through the door, I was locked out and did not have my car keys on me. I did not have my phone. So I had to knock very loudly, and eventually James, who's still in the office, came to rescue me. So thank God. Otherwise, what is life without your car keys and your phone? I mean, what do you do? I'd have no idea. I'd be lost, completely lost. So that's why Ian was like, "Are you there? Are you coming? Are you casting?" And I'm like, "All right, I'm here.
You can't even find a telephone box to send a collect call or anything."
yeah, exactly. I mean, wow, yeah, just imagine. I mean, are there phone boxes anymore? I think there's a few around. Do you remember? Did you ever collect phone cards then?
I don't know where the closest one to you would have been. You probably have to walk down to Westfield or something.
Yeah, it'd probably be easier for me just to walk home, or hope that eventually my wife would send out a rescue party or something like that. Yeah. And Chris isn't here. Chris would usually save me. Chris is my go-to, save me person. So he wasn't there. So Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, we do have some skirmish to touch on, and also we have to touch on. I actually played Armory last week, so my triumphant.
We do have to talk about that.
Triumphant return, and we even have like a really maybe even meaty, fiery topic for the Kirks Corner that me and Ian may clash on, may ruin our friendship, our Kirks Corner friendship. Who knows?
To be fair, that's not fab related, so that's fine.
yeah, definitely.
So, do you have anything for good housekeeping this week?
No, not really. Well, yes, just some small things. Obviously, more skirmish events for the wider public. There's more skirmish events obviously coming up this weekend. So if you're playing in any of them, just make sure you've reached out to the TO store that is running it, signed up on their Discord, crossed your T's, dotted your I's, so you do know what's going on. This is actually I will be looking to do some updates to the player FAQ that I published last week. So there's some other very relevant questions that have come up from various people.
I'm just going to throw it out there. There's no such thing as going 4-1-1. There are no draws.
Let's get to that when we get to maybe we can start once we clear good housekeeping. Maybe this is the first little thing that we should just touch on once we go clearing. But besides that, I've got nothing much to say. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, I've always got something to say.
Let's just jump straight into the skirmish review then. All right. So first week, what a week it's been. We have obviously seen in different countries, not even different countries, in just different areas, different metas. It's like great to see Adminion Guard, not only 2 brutes in the top 8, but a brute player actually taking it out against another brute player in the final. I think it may have even been both the brutes in the final, which is interesting.
It's real interesting. This is what obviously I was hoping personally that we'd see people just playing what they wanted to play and kind of local metas. So while the Auckland meta is quite big because we've had unrestricted in-store play for quite a while, and obviously huge number of players coming on board, just kind of proves that like each town has its own meta.
Yep.
And the Australians are no slouches. I'm not trying to say that they're behind us in technology or anything like that. I mean, they have had the disadvantage that they haven't had the easiest time in terms of lockdowns and even between states. But yeah, it's cool to see. Midian Guard was definitely, and also run by our friend Andy, solid bloke. But and
so just reminding Andy. So that's two brutes that and no katsu, right? just scoreboard there. Well, I will not let him forget that.
That's all right. I think Andy would accept that his ninja playing skills aren't always top tier. If we go back to his what was it? The calling where he had ninja katsu specializations
in his Ira
deck. Yeah. But Andy's somebody who genuinely plays for the fun of it. So double brute and top 4. So yeah, that is interesting.
And then in North America, we really saw the rise of Go Tall Dorinthia. Seemed to be really dominant over the weekend. A couple of wins, a couple of tournament wins, multiple top 8s.
I mean, let's before I wanted to say some comments about that. Let's bring up Lee's comment here.
Oh, yeah,
Lee Fletcher's just pulled up. Obviously, Lee is one of the top players in Australia. Yes, skirmish event at Midian Guard was Brute first in Swiss, which was him. Top cut was Brute versus Brute final. Sadly, I lost the final. Well, not through skill and effort. I did hear. Was there a bit in the event where there was like somebody had double reckless swing? I don't know if that was a finals. It's just something I heard. There was a double reckless swing, swing turn.
I think I heard you and Chris talking about something like a reckless swing route, second reckless swing turn or something. Yeah, some iteration of that. Again, I'm only going off what I heard while I was making coffee, so I wasn't listening.
Yeah, but it's very interesting. It'll be good.
Well done for making the finals, and always great to see Brute players repping at the top table. So well done, and just don't let Andy forget that. Just do that for us.
Yeah. Well, actually, my most important question for Lee, if he's still listening, is if you were top of the Swiss, what cold foil hero did you pick? Because of course, with the IRL in real life events, the cold foils were determined by basically drafting them after the Swiss. So, Lee, what did you do? What cold foil did you draft? Did you indeed draft cold foil Reiner, or did you have something else up? Okay, all right. But Lee, the situation would have been against Luke Fletcher. That was interesting. Love a tournament report from you sometime, Lee. But maybe Lee, somebody we need to get on the podcast. Actually, we haven't done any 2021 interviews yet, have we, Ian?
No, I've got something lined up for a trip down to Wellington, which I'm not going to go too much into it because it is something I'm looking forward to, and we'll talk more about it when that's in the bag. But definitely look at getting some more people on and having chat. Here we go. Looks like there we are. He picked a dash because he has a cold foil rhino already.
Yes. You could always do 2 cold foil rhinos. I mean, come on, brute life. All right, well that's cool. I'm just saying, what else? I mean, there were a number of not over Australia events. There was 2 sealed events in Australia. There was both Vault Games and Unplugged Games. Unplugged Games out in Lismore. Now, I haven't seen any details from the Vault Games one.
There was also Western Australia as well. They had their skirmish, didn't they?
Yep, they did. Let's have a look. Dan Solo, Dan Solo is in Tasmania, if I believe. Yeah, Dan Solo. They had an event. Who else had in Australia? I'm trying to think. There was one other. Sorry, Alendriel Games. Actually. So it was actually four different stores. Alendriel Games. Obviously, Mr. Brenzy, Kale works at Alendriel Games. I haven't seen all the results. I think Kale, Mr. Brenzy, didn't do well in his event, but he actually won the Scar for a Scar giveaway mat, so he was much happier after that. Haven't seen many details from Vault Games. The very cool thing about the Unplugged Games event was that I saw some photos up of their top 8, and I had to do an actual double take, but apparently Unplugged Games has like a young version of Sasha playing there who won the event. I had to actually message Sasha and say, because I took a double take, because I was like, why is Sasha playing at Unplugged Games? Surely that's quite some distance from where he is. But yeah, there is actually a younger version of Sasha clearing, taking first place at Unplugged Games. And it'll be interesting to see if this new Sasha can one day play against his mentor. But yeah. Yes, thank you, Liam. Young Sasha. I wonder if anyone else besides me has seen that. Where's Lingard? Where's Wesley? Congrats on your win at Unplugged Games. But yeah, I did a double take in the photo, and I was like, oh, all right, it's not Sasha. But yeah, one day I'd like to see young Sasha and I won't call him old Sasha, current Sasha, have a match together. That would be my fantasy booking.
I don't believe that guy even exists. What has he done lately?
Oh, he does everything so much. That's what he tells me when I try and heap more work upon him. He's like, "Nah, Alan, I've got too much." But that's like everyone these days. So those are the Australian ones. There obviously was a bunch in the US as well. Portugal had one. The first Malaysian one occurred as well. The big ones obviously were the Cloak and Blaster.
Was it like Austria? It was like one in Austria or something this weekend?
This coming week? No, last weekend there was not. There's been a couple of European ones that have been in the process of being rescheduled. But I mean, all the American ones went off. Compete Esport, 65 players.
65, yeah, great.
65 registered players. Yeah. 61 for the Cloak and Blaster online one. Decade 24. Yeah, you've got a story for that one.
Yeah, well, I've got 2 stories. I've actually got to play in two skirmishes. I got to play in Cloak and Blaster and also Deck Edge's event as well, which was capped at 24. So
yeah, so some of them, I think, obviously like the Compete Esport one, I think, well, it says 65 were registered in the event. So I think maybe I just went one over because I think they had a cap of 64. But yeah, Deck Edge, various events kept it a little bit smaller. Gamers Haven also had a big one. 32 players.
One of the reasons Deck Edge was a cap at 24 is they started at 7:30 in the evening, so it was I think it was capped to sort of keep the rounds at a semi-reasonable hour.
Yeah, but it was great. Just there's lots of people out there playing the game. Obviously, I know everyone would like to play it in real life in the stores. But I mean, the webcam gave an option for people outside of some of these areas to play as well. So it was very good. Yeah. So Ian, tell us about your experiences for the skirmish this weekend.
Yeah. So it started off. It's a bit weird. So with Deck Edge, Jason from Deck Edge was one of the creators that was involved with the Ultimate Pit Flight singleton that we played, and yeah, so I sort of reached out to him and said, look, I'm happy to jump in and play if there's a spot. He had sold out by the time I reached out to him, but he had done a bit of a mix up, and he put two people in it, or one person in twice or something. So there was a spot freed up, like right as the tournament was going to begin, and I was in the Discord, and I was like, look, I'll jump in and play, just so no one has to have a buy and stuff like that. So I decided after what you did on at Armory on Friday that I'd changed my deck up, and I actually played OTK Viserai, and in that event I managed to go 3-2 in Swiss and scrape into the top 8 at number 8, taking on Rob from was it Tellurian Dropout, I believe is his channel. He had gone 5-0 with Tool Dorinthia, so I was up against him in the first round, and if it just wasn't for the fact that both my remembrances showed up in the first like 3 to 4 turns of the game, and that sort of put me on the back foot for a couple of turns. I got one rune chant away from beating him, so that was a good time, and I believe Rob went on to win that event undefeated. So that was cool, and I know he has posted that up. He had streamed the event, I believe. The stream's probably up on his YouTube channel if people want to go back and watch it. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. Really not like surprisingly nice playing against a bunch of people who actually know about Radio Reflex and have sort of like had nice things to say about the podcast, and that they've watched us and they knew who we were, which is always nice to hear. Yeah, and so it was a lot of fun, and yeah, got to hang out in the lobby and chat with people. Louis from Tabletop TCG played in that event. So did Steve from DM Armada. So always nice to catch up with them. But yeah, so that was fun, and so I was feeling pretty good about making top 8. The following day, I bought into Cloak and Blaster because again they started a bit later, so it was. I think it started about 1 o'clock here, and obviously my coffee run I'm usually done by midday, so I was able to jump into that. I decided to stick back to my boy Reiner, and the Brute Gods were not happy with me for playing Viserai the day before, and I managed to kill myself with discarding Beast Within off a reckless swing, which I probably would have got the win from. So lost that game. Following game or around or so later, I hit like six cards off the Beast Within, going from a near unlosable position, lost 6 points of life, including half my barrage and beatdowns. 2 turns later, I then Gambler's Gloves into a 1 off a Scab Skin roll, and yeah, proceeded to lose a game that I was very much in the in the driver's seat 3 turns earlier. And
well,
so,
I mean,
yeah.
Pretty much, Ian, that Brute never loses. Brute never loses. You may kill yourself, but you never lose. You're more likely to kill yourself than your opponent to do it. So
I'm not gonna say that. There definitely were some great players in both those tournaments, and all the losses that I took were to good players, and I was really happy to get to play with them. I got to play with a couple of new, like fairly new players as well, which was great. So I sort of got to help some people along and give some people some insight. I've sort of passed on the lessons I've learned from taking a beating from Kale week after week to a new Bravo player. So I gave him a few insights on what to do and stuff like that. So yeah, no, it was good fun. And and I believe also in Cloak and Blaster there was a couple of Europeans in that tournament as well. So good to see that the TO was Matt and Andrea were from Cloak and Blaster. They did a great job of running the event, and they were really accommodating to have us and let us play in it. So big shout out to them. Also big shout out to Deck Edge for running his event really well as well. So yeah, no, it was a lot of fun, and hopefully if my time works out, I might play a few more of these webcam based tournaments. I come from a background of playing a game, Super Show, which we've talked about, which is a wrestling cards and dice game, which has been using webcam gaming for 4 to 5 years now, and so I really enjoyed the whole webcam experience, because you do get to play with people that you don't normally see at your locals and stuff like that. And like, I mean, I know in the Flesh and Blood community, there's a lot of people starving to play new people. So I think webcam stuff is going to be a big thing while we just ride out the end of this pandemic. So
yeah, no, definitely. So yeah, big thanks to all the TOs that took this on and stuck with us. Obviously, Skirmish changed. Originally, obviously, it was all IRL, and we had to change it for those markets. Hey, and Lucky's got some good information here. Sorry, the last podcast I did actually make a mistake. I thought Lucky Gaming's event was going to be this weekend because it's actually March, not February. So I think he has an update there, and Lee's also popped in there with a good, interesting comment.
I was refereeing my specially signed. Yes. Alrighty. I'm glad that some of my luck is. I feel like my pain at Ford going out into the universe is far more beneficial to the people that I'd help than necessarily myself. But
don't sign anything else, Ian. Maybe every time you sign, you lose a little bit, and a little bit.
Yes, and Lucky Gaming TCG Skirmish is on the 20th of March. They have 15 content. Oh wow, okay. That's awesome, man. But also 20th March, and you've already sold out. That's great. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, people want to get into these events, and there's just people itching for it. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lucky has not only players from all around America, but around the world signing. I'm not sure if he put a restriction on overseas players, but yeah, certainly people across America want to get into the game.
And just going forward, if people do want to play against me in a webcam tournament, I have lined up one tournament for next week that I will be playing, and I'm not sure if they have sold out yet. But my good friend Jacob Maynard at Comic Book World in Louisville, Kentucky, which is a stronghold of the Super Show community. I am bringing the new Wraith Order to Comic Book World, and looking forward to throwing down. I don't know if there's many Super Show players playing over there, or if it's just going to be new Flesh and Blood players. But I have it's insane because of going to Gen Con. I have a myriad of friends in Kentucky, which 5 years ago I was like not even 100% sure where in America it was. But Kentucky is. Funnily enough, it's on my bucket list of places that I have this American road trip that I'm mapping out for when the pandemic is over. Cloak and Blaster, as I said, we played in their Skirmish and looked at they're like a pub / gaming shop, and I was like, this looks amazing. Definitely, they're on the list. There's a bunch of places that I just want to take 3 weeks, get in a car, and just drive around the states and play some fab, which would be awesome.
Yeah, I must admit, I would really like to get to. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of states and a lot of stores, but I do have a predilection that I would like to get to Texas. The reason for that is there's obviously a bunch of stores, and a lot of our very first stores that signed on came from Texas. Obviously, I'd really like to meet Bill from Reaper Games. Obviously, we've talked a lot over the years. So yeah, I'd really like to meet, and also because I would really like to go to some of the filming locations of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because most of them still exist to various degrees, and it would be lovely to get over there. Dice.
This is an interesting question for us. I know we've been pitching for years to get these made. Alice is planning on bringing out their own dice product because Brute requires dice. It's actually really funny you should say this, Lucky Gaming. I was literally looking today at the idea of getting custom dice made for Radio Reflex slash another project that I have coming up in the next little while, and yes, Brute Dice was an idea that I had. So while I'm not sure LSS is planning on it, maybe if I can get things sorted out, we might be able to do something about that. But you know, definitely be cool to have some sort of customizable dice. And also from Lucky, March 20 event, only US-based players, DM and Mata. Oh man, look at that list of people. Woo, woo.
That's I'm pretty familiar with all but one name, so I don't know Grimmy Bones. But maybe now I have to look them up. But yeah,
is Grimmy Bones possibly Flesh and Bones channel? Maybe, I'm not sure. That is a great lineup, Lucky Gaming TCG, and it does mean that I'm looking there. You're going to have at least 5 different streams going from your event, which is amazing.
You don't actually. This is a genius idea. He doesn't actually need to worry about coverage because it's going to be covered by everybody in the event, basically. And I suppose that's a really great thing. So many content creators are jumping into these events, as opposed to just discussing them. And I feel like there's a bit of difference.
Shout out to those content creators that are streaming, because streaming does it takes a bit of effort to get it up and get it looking good, but also like Rob over at Dropout, he did very well in Deck Edge. The tournament before, he didn't do so well, but he sort of still hung around and streamed the top 8 and did a bit of commentary for it. So it's really great to see just how excited they are about not just playing themselves, but just putting content out and supporting the other players that are playing, which is great.
So yeah, that covers like a pretty busy weekend. So the next part of Skirmish, obviously more events coming up this weekend, but is obviously me and Ian's plans.
It's a very important weekend for us. It's our first Skirmish event in person together.
Yeah, exactly.
And it is an even playing field almost, Alan, because we are going to be playing at Hobby Masters Skirmish event, which is WTR sealed. So we're going back old school. We're kicking it back to set 1. Both me and Alan have played a fair amount of set 1. We both have preferred play styles in this format, I would say. I know you're a big fan of the if you don't have anything that stands out, just play Bravo. Of course, no surprise that I am very Brute orientated in that format. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm really looking forward to playing sealed again. Obviously, it's been a little while since we had any product that we could play sealed with. Team sealed was super fun. I just I like as much as I like drafting, I think sealed format is actually what really excites me with card games. It's sort of like one of the formats that really sort of took my interest back in the days of Versus system, and it's always nice because you end up finding some stuff that you may not have normally thought about, and it can inspire ideas for actual future deck building, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, I feel a little bit. I mean, I really do enjoy the WTR sealed. Obviously, previous to this in other games, I've always felt sealed is a bit of a lottery, but I really enjoy our sealed. And obviously, deck building is a lot easier and faster in Fab because you need to gravitate towards one of those classes and then choose, and then you got to trim out cards. But I kind of prefer draft, but obviously I'm going to need to win 4 to 5 rounds to cement a place in the draft.
Just make top 8 and you get to draft.
Yeah, exactly. So actually it does remind me I should go and check for tickets because they were beginning to run low. I was looking at today. There's still 14 left. There's still 14 left for today.
Go do it now.
All right, I'm going to do it now.
You're probably going to miss out. We've got at least 8 on the stream. They're just going to buy it.
They're just going to buy multiple. They're just going to buy multiple tickets, aren't they? Lee and Lucky are just going to buy snipe tickets for this event.
And then sell them back.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Fab Skirmish sealed. 11 tickets left. All right, add to cart.
See, that's
fine.
In 30 seconds, three tickets have gone. You're not going to get a ticket by the end of this.
Going on. Here we go. Update. Oh no, I have to log in. This is just like. I mean, to be fair, this has happened for. I don't know if you've done it a few times. Well, no, people have given up their spot to let you in. I know I've given up my spot.
I gave up my spot on my birthday at Mighty 8 for Mono. Remember?
Yeah, yep. That was a rough one too, as well. But it did allow you to come on board and do the commentary for that event. So I mean that it was a bit of a loss for you, not a complete loss for the audience and me. All right, update. Do I need to? No shipping required.
While Alan does that, I'll go down a little bit. So we have Hobby Master here this week, and yeah, as we said, there is a number of events around the world. So if you go to fabtcg.com and go to the event locator, there's actually in the categories that you can look for, you can actually just select skirmish events, and that'll bring up a listing of all the events. And the really nice thing about it too is that if you're logged into your profile, it will change the date and time to your local time. So if you're wanting to play in an event that is outside of your regular time zone, it will actually fix it and let you know exactly when that's going to start in your time zone. So that is actually really handy, and it was one of the reasons I could actually get to play this week because I was like, I'm not 100% sure about where is where with time zones in the States, because obviously there's multiple time zones, and so it was very handy to be able to just jump on and go, all right, I can make that or I can't make that, and work that out. So that was very cool. Also coming up, not next week, but we also have a trip down to Wellington for a couple of skirmish events the week after next, which will be exciting.
Yeah. Well, you're just going down for the day. I'm going down for the. I am flying in very early on Saturday morning. Town number 9.
Town number 9 is up. He's going to compete, play, and go as far as he can. All right, that is great. Lucky, I'm going to be super excited to watch that. If you can just send us an email to radioreflexpodcast@gmail.com and just send me a link to your Discord that you're going to do it on. Obviously, I won't be playing, but I'd love to jump in and chat with people on the day as well in the lobby in between matches and stuff. And yeah, it'd be cool. But yeah, best of luck for running it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So so I'll be down for Wellington for I'm also for the all 3 days. So sorry, I'm Saturday, Sunday, and I'm staying Monday. So I'll be doing Cerberus and obviously sushi night as well. But you're just going to make it for Cerberus, Ian?
At this stage, I have flown in and flying out on the Saturday just because I do have work on Sunday. I've just realized though, if I make top 8 at Cerberus, I may not make my flight home. So there's an outside shot. I might be at sushi night if I make top 8 at Cerberus. We'll have to see what happens.
Well, the other thing is, it turns out I sniped some tickets for back-to-back Skirmish and Welly. So I assume what Kyle's meaning is unfortunate in the good kind of way that he can tell his wife that he's going down for business, I assume. Daddy's going down to business. No card games at all.
I was about to say, Kale, if I end up missing my flight on Saturday, is there enough room for me to grab a lift home after sushi night?
Maybe. Although I don't know about Kale's. It depends what vehicle Kale's in. I don't know. I've never been brave enough to drive. Part of my let's just say my brain issues is I have a lot of issues trusting people driving, being the passenger. So I'm not sure I could ever drive with Kale, especially with his what's the word? Every trip is about like 2 hours shorter than you expect it to be with Kale. But that's gonna be cool. Also, on the Monday I have a grand plan. If anybody has a Monday off, I am planning on there is room. I am planning to hire a car, and I'm going to do a little what my parents would call a tiki tour around Wellington, but with purpose. I am going to travel to some of the filming locations for one of my favorite films of all time, Peter Jackson's Brain Dead. So obviously all the locations, well, pretty much all the locations are kind of in the Wellington area. I think there are a few that are further out. But I'm going to go and take some photos, travel around.
Yeah, cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
All righty. I think that's all we've got for Skirmish this week, and we'll talk more about, obviously, next week we'll talk more about how our Skirmish went and how the others went. But yeah, we're jump onto our Facebook page and let us know how you did at your events. Would love to hear. We especially love to hear if you're playing something a little bit unusual. Hot take. If you're expecting a lot of go tall Dorinthias in your meta, maybe go back to BlitzCon and relook at James White's Cavdane deck.
Maybe, but I mean, Matt's list wouldn't have been. The go tall.
Matt's list is very different from. Well, that list is very different to what's getting played at the moment. So.
Yeah, it is interesting. Although I might just jump in. I do have some breaking news. Actually, I won't. I was going to save a date, but
breaking news that you out on tickets to this week.
No, my ticket's secure. No, Ethan Kennedy, or better known as Eats, from Shadow Realm Whangarei, looks like he has got a date for the postponed, because he would have been the first New Zealand skirmish event, but because of a lockdown, we decided it was best to postpone it, because at that time we didn't know if a lockdown was going to continue, because Auckland was in its own higher level, rest of the country was still at a lower level lockdown, but obviously it prohibited him running his event. So he has just come to me with a new date in March. I won't say it because, of course, if something happens, everyone will be like, but you said it was this date. We are looking at a March date. Me and Ian are definitely hopefully planning to drive up. I'm definitely keen. Ian, if he can get round to work, he is definitely keen. I'm going to have a look at this date, actually. Again, I won't say it, but I'm just going to check if it's a Saturday.
Just message me.
It looks like he's still on a Sunday date, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so yeah, as we said, if you are playing in a skirmish event this coming week, good, best of luck. Have fun, and also remember that like, especially for the webcam tournaments, the prizes are participation prizes. So have some fun. Like, play play what you want to play. Don't necessarily think you have to play the meta defining best deck. I mean, if that's what you want to play that. But yeah, no, there is it's more about getting out and everyone actually getting in and playing some games with some different people. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, Skirmish season hype. Has everyone even more hyped for Monarch spoiler season? Yes, it is. Hopefully we will get a spoiler for spoiler season. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we didn't overly wrestler out our Crucible spoiler.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to mention the person's name, because if I mention who is organizing the spoilers, then of course everyone's going to message this person. But the person's team that are organizing the spoilers, I'm assuming what they will do is give us no spoiler to begin with, just to screw around with us. I'm sure that's what's going to happen. But yeah, rest assured. But obviously now, when we got our first spoilers,
I was about to say I did actually have a theory about this, but I don't know if LSS will put the money up for it. So what my theory is, since we're ending season 3 of our bet for the Iain and Alan part of the podcast, where the loser gets a tattoo. Since it is going to be before spoiler season that happens, is if LSS wants to sponsor that and we will get the spoiler tattooed onto the loser. So James, if you're out there, I know you're probably not watching this, but someone else in the office might tell you. Just throwing it out there. Be a pretty cool way to do a spoiler. I'm just saying.
Well, at least Ian, I got some points back. I got a point back this week, so maybe you have to get the if I keep on this roll.
That is my broadcasting school way of segueing nicely into our weekly results and how that is going. So weekly scoreboard.
And just say Rohan just made a comment. Do not put Rohan's comment up. Do not do that. Rohan has made a comment. Why does everyone? Why do you assume that, Rohan? Rohan's made a comment, but I'm not gonna put it up because people might do what he suggests, and that definitely does not need to be done. Sorry if you're watching this later on the podcast, but that's it, Rohan. You're not in my good books anymore. Yes, you're dead to me, Rohan. Yes, let's go to the scoreboard where I ignore.
That's an even better segue. So one of my highlights from this last week Armory event, I finally bet Rohan's whistle. Finally. I bit the bullet and I went up to 4 Nelrune, 4 Arcane Barrier in that matchup, and finally got a win against him. Actually, I was pretty happy out at Takapuna Cardbridge, and I went 2-2 playing Reiner, but my 2 wins were against both Kano players. So which has been a matchup which has always been close, but often comes down to me getting done by exact damage on the turn that I'm about to go lethal on them. So it was nice to finally pull off a win and put at least 1 win in my column versus the many wins that Rohan has against me in his win column.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, like through my career of playing any games, and I've never been hugely successful. Like I've had my days where I've done well, but like when you get to beat somebody you consider to be a top player, I mean, it's pretty sweet, and those are the victories. Like like beating James in draft, beating Jason in draft. Only ever happened like once each. But like those victories are the sweetest at all, and I hope the people that like when we talk about these victories that they appreciate what it means to us to beat them, because it is huge. Like, yeah, it's huge. Yeah, being able to beat, to get some games over on those people, because if Rohan sits opposite to me, I assume, well, it's going to be cool, hanging out with Rohan for the next 90 seconds while he puts out his equipment, and then the next 2 minutes of him burning to me to death. Quick game's a good game, but yeah. So well done on getting a win over Rohan and Double Wizard. Nice armory event, Ian.
Thanks,
Rohan,
man.
gracious,
Thanks,
great person.
It was good. Which leads us to Friday night. You managed to get some time off and get to play at Card Merchants, which was great to see. And you had a different deck than you normally run. Do you want to tell us a little bit?
No, I definitely. I will. Let's. This will be my story time for the event. So as if you haven't followed, if you followed the podcast, you know that I haven't played mini games in at least the last month. So I carved out the time to do Friday night at Card Merchant. And to be fair, because I haven't played any games, I did, and just because of me, I did have some trepidation going into the event. Like, I know you shouldn't, but I just had this, got to climb back on the horse, and so some anxiety, a little bit of anxiety going into it. I mean, not that I knew I wouldn't enjoy myself when I get there, but still climbing back on that horse. So I didn't get a deck ready. So in the morning of Friday, I said, Ian, can you give me a deck? And Ian was like, well, what do you want? And I said, anything but the Dom Rimphia. And Ian's like, and I'm just like, just give me anything, Ian, just hand me the deck box. But what happened is, as I can't remember when, but we were at the office and I was talking to Newson, saying that I was going to Armory, and Newson was like, take this, play this. And nobody will like you for playing it, but play this. And I was like, okay, Newson, you said it, I'll do it. So he gave me the OTK Viz, Viceroy list.
Which, ironically, I had in the deck box that I could have given to you anyway.
Yeah, so he gave me his one that was just missing the blood sheaf Skeletor, which I obviously had to borrow off you in your identical deck. But I was going on that Newson's deck luck. But yeah, and maybe that was a bit maybe in retrospect now it was good, but going into it, maybe that wasn't the wisest choice of a deck to pick up. But yeah, I picked up the OTK Viz, and obviously I'd watched Jason's brilliant video. Make sure you watch Jason's Hero Spotlight on the Fab YouTube page. Yeah. But I had Jason's voice running through my head and all the things, because Jason did a narration over the video, which is so useful. So I was running a lot of the ideas he had imparted through my head as I was playing. So yeah, borrowed the Blood Sheaf Skeletor, sat down. So it was 4 rounds, and for once I actually have all the details of the events, thanks to it all being recorded on your player ID on fabtcg.com. So first of all, round 1, I sat down against Christopher. Christopher was on Ranger. And I think he was playing a bit of a budget build, because I knew every time I tried to...
He's a new player too, relatively new player. So yeah. Yeah.
So he was playing more budget build. So every time I tried to play my I now have the name of the card. My the what? Sorry? Yeah. Whenever I tried to play my Chains of Eminence, I always went for the red in the ledger. Kind of the key big cards. But he kept on just hitting me with searing shots and other stuff like that. So both of us were playing, and unfortunately both of us were just simply playing too slow. He's a new player, I was getting used to the deck, so we were playing a little bit slow. But he had some great draws. He was really hammering me with the take aims and just buffing his arrows, and he always seemed to have a plunder run in the arsenal. So it certainly wasn't easy, despite him being relatively new to the game. And unfortunately we got down to turns, and I just hadn't accumulated quite enough. He had a defense reaction in the arsenal, so that took the edge off my Ninth Blades, and I left him on 2. I was on, I can't remember, I was on low life, but I left him on 2. I had the last turn of the game and just couldn't get it done. But good game, and he certainly navigated the deck. Round 2, I went up against Boss Chan. Now he's an Irish player. He was new, yeah, new player, but he was playing somebody else's Bravo deck and still getting the hang of it. So again, I just kind of managed to negotiate my way around. I think one of the cool things about Jason's video is he really hammered in the idea that, you can throw away your whole hand in the deck. You can throw away your whole hand playing the deck. It doesn't put you that behind. You're a control deck. If you can prevent 10 damage or more by throwing away your hand, do it. And it's still a hard concept for me to get over, coming from other games. Even now, after playing for a year, that you feel like when you throw away your whole hand, you're losing.
I must admit, I was in some of the games I played in the deck edge combo. I was throwing down my whole hand, and it really threw some players off. Like they hadn't seen people do that before. Like I would often, against like a Dorinthia player, just because I didn't want them to get a counter, and I knew that they had like some buffs. I'm just being like, I threw down 12 on your sharpened steel and your sharpened steel Dawnblade. I'm like, I'm throwing down 12 now, and they're like, oh, okay, turn, I guess.
Yeah, so it's something you got to get used to. But yeah, again, I was able to get to that penultimate turn where I counted up the possibility of what he had in hand and as arsenal. And again, it's all about 10th blade and raining down those rune chants on his head. And then the next round was against Jonathan West. He was playing dash aggro, like terminal velocity, no induction chambers. Like Teklo Heart is what he brings out with Dash's ability at the start of the game. So that was quite close. Oh, sorry, Teklo Core. So that was actually quite close for a while because he did actually open up and had a big 3 boost turn into the terminal velocity, which is pretty scary. So I had to use a lot of my equipment to soak up that damage. So he had actually me on really low life for a while, and I just couldn't draw a sigil. Because obviously he's on 20 and I was pretty low, and I just couldn't find a sigil. But I think I'm not quite sure of the situation, but he made a mistake where he could have had another terminal velocity turn, not too far after the first one, but he didn't play it right. And basically the other thing is, because he's so heavy boost, he was running through the deck. Yeah. And basically got to the point where, and I just knew I just had to survive. So I was able to survive and just got to the point where he just didn't have anything left in the deck to challenge me.
Runs out of reds. You just make sure that you block the overloops so they're not going back to the bottom. And if he's not running cognition nodes, it makes it just a whole heap harder.
Yeah. So I was coming into that the final round 2-1. I was feeling pretty happy. I hadn't met my favorable matchup. There were Ira players at the event. I think, in fact, Gary Lynch won the event with Ira, but I'd missed all the Iras up to that point. And then Vincent Dojo turned the corner, and we ended up playing. So I was like, Vincent's more experienced than my previous opponents, and he was on Bravo, so this was going to be tough. But yeah, it was a great game because I reminded Vincent, of how much he liked me, of course, how much he was on Team Alan, some friendly reminders.
I'm almost 100% sure that you threw that game. Yeah. Vincent, I've got my eye on you.
Yeah. No, it was a cool game. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard running against Vincent, and it came down to basically the final turn of the game, and I'd built up 39 rune chants against him, and I had my 9th blade ready, but I was basically, I think I can't quite remember if I had 3 cards left, or I was drawing those last 3 cards, and he basically had a handful of red defense reactions. So had like a red unmovable and I think a red sink below. So that wasn't a couple other blue cards, but the 39 rune chants was not going to do it. And I mean, the thing about the Viserai deck is because of Reaping Blade, you can dictate a lot of the pay. You can dictate. I'm not sure. It's not pace of a game, but like the whole life thing. Because the thing is, when you're playing Blitz, as quite often you're going to have to think, my opponent's going to be on 26. I need to do 26 damage, not 20.
if not more, if he's playing Bravo with blessings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I mean, even Ira, Dick's running yellow sigils.
Yeah.
So your expected life total is actually closer to a classic constructed life total, but you have to be aware of it. You're going to have to beat down. So so keeping because Vincent would have been on way more life. He had a Toma Fendel, which would have gained him 5 life if not for the Reaping Blade. He had multiple blessings again. Extra life, Reaping Blade prevented. So Reaping Blade never attacked once in any of my games. It was the significant all-star of the deck. So I can imagine why some people don't like Reaping Blade.
It's the 5th piece of equipment, basically.
Yeah, essentially. So got the win against Vincent. But it was a big event, so I didn't place first because obviously I had 3 wins and a draw, or 3 wins and a loss. But still, it was really great. It gave me some confidence back, and I sorely needed. To be honest, I really needed that confidence, just to get some wins in, and especially with a new deck. And you went 2-2, so I actually managed for once in ages. I clawed back a point, so I'm gonna trumpet this win. But yeah, thanks to the guys I played. I mean, the best thing is, I got to play Vincent. I haven't played Vincent since we played Alpha Welcome to Wraith Draft was the last time we actually played against each other, and I got to play against 3 people I never played against, and everybody in this community is so good. So it was a real pleasure playing with these guys. Especially I feel a bit unlucky for Boss. Pardon?
No, he did. I know Vincent took a dive.
Big thing. I'll probably shout out to Boss.
You want to know how I know Vincent took a dive? Because he bit me with Guardian. I was playing OTK at Shuffle and Cup. And I'm like, oh, now it comes out.
No, don't you realize that Vincent actually the ability to beat you in that match was solely because of him playing against me. So he was like, yeah, now I'm totally prepared for this matchup. I gave him all the information. Yeah, he just wanted to see the whole deck, because literally he did see pretty much the whole deck in that match. But a shout out to Boss Chan, because I feel a bit bad just because he was playing somebody else's deck, and he didn't know the full ins and outs of the deck, so he was just doing his best to play with. He was a good opponent.
I played Boss last night at Hobby Master. He's getting better each game. He's learning a bit more. Again, as I said, he's on Guardian. I've taken enough beatings from Kale to impart some knowledge to Bravo players. It's good to see. And he's part of that sort of Kenton, Malachi, CJ, a group which they get in reps. I'm sure the next time you play Boss, he's gonna be even better. So just because it's a tough learning curve at the beginning, don't be surprised if these new folks come back in even just a week or two and surprise you with how much better they've become. Because you remember what we were like, just like the whole learning to block, learning when to pitch, what to pitch, the running out of reds because you've played them all in the first turn and you've only got blues left. All that sort of stuff is all just reps and practice and players.
Hey, I'll definitely take these wins over these guys while they're new, because to be honest, you are right. Probably 2 months down the track, I'm going to get smashed by some of these guys. Because I think that group you're mentioning, those guys, Malachi and all that, I think they have their own little studio they've set up for all their fabbing and stuff.
I think 3 of them live together, 3 of them flat together, and then the other one lives within walking distance or something.
Yeah, so I mean that's pretty cool. So it was good to core a point back. So is that the updated standings area?
So four matches in it, and you've got at least one whole skirmish event more than me to play this season. So who knows?
I must admit, I am in the planning stages. I've actually got to book some flights tonight. Should be going down. We'll be going down to Dunedin for their event. Again, it's a double weekend with Dice Jar Games and the Game Store at Megazone.
Yeah. As a side note, have you actually seen that group chat we sent you about accommodation for that?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, Ash caught up with me. Ash said, "Hurry up and confirm." So I said, "All right, I'll book flights tonight and then I'll confirm with you." But yeah, so Christchurch, we will be. Oh no, what did I say? Christchurch, we're here. It's going to be fun.
And you're talking about Dunedin, not Christchurch, by the way.
Oh, did I say Christchurch? Dunedin.
Yeah.
Dice Jar.
I was about to say, don't book the Christchurch because ain't no one going to be there except maybe you.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of comments here. A question. I have a question. Will there be a season 2 of Skirmish in the future? I think we can all agree LSS hit a home run and everyone is excited to compete and play the game is growing. I will, as that is kind of your realm, I'll let you answer that question.
To be fair, just simply probably best thing for me to say is to say no comment at the moment. But obviously, we're taking in the feedback. Everybody, we do see what people talk about and the ups and the downs of Skirmish. We do watch a lot of the videos. People tell us stuff. So yeah, we'll be taking all of that feedback. I mean, the only thing I can say is we have OP planned for the upcoming years. We are working on it. It's the top thing on my mind. We do want OP. I mean, it's really that simple. So maybe things won't be in the guise of Skirmish. Who knows what it'll be eventually? But that's my job. It keeps me employed. If there was no OP, I would have no job.
Zeke says, play aggro and play just as effective as Ira and the other heroes so we can win against Kano. Is that Manu? I'm not
maybe.
Sure
I don't know who's it. No, Zix. I don't know. Maybe Zix, but I'll stick to the list that's been tuned and played by Jason. To be honest. Okay, so Lucky Gaming. If time runs out and extra turns done in tournament, highest life wins instead of double loss. What do you think?
Nope.
Again, I'll just no comment. Ian's free to give his opinion.
Okay.
I'll no comment.
I will, because I don't work for the company. Obviously, Alan is in a position where if he makes comments on this, people will take it far too serious. But the whole point of the way it is to make people play to win within the time limit. And the problem with the highest life thing is with things like Sigil, like if you play with the highest life wins at the end, you're just gonna get a thing where everyone plays with sigils, everyone plays from remembrances, and then you can get people who just turtle out, not trying to win at all, just trying to go to time and gain life and win that way, and that is sort of that. I mean. That there are games where that is a viable strategy, but like part of what they've tried to do with with Flesh and Blood as a hero game is that it is a fight. It's supposed to represent a fight, and it's about getting it done with the time that you have. You run into slow playing, way more slow playing, and people trying to game the system if you play to a highest life wins. Whereas if you don't get it done and both players take a loss, it incentivizes people to play to win.
You know what? I'll just give the advice that I've always given when people have come up to me in tournaments. Manu. Hey, Manu. Just when people, like from years of judging and stuff like that, people would ask me questions, how do I get into top 8, blah, 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 this. And my response has always been, just win games. The easiest way to win a tournament is to win games. Yep. Well, one thing, because I know one of the reasons this whole debate has come up is because we do have a lot more players now and a lot more new players.
Players coming from other games. And like one of the things that I constantly heard in the lobbies and stuff were people going, "Oh man, I don't understand. Like I was 4-1-1 and I got beaten by a 4-2, 4-2 in the standings." And the reason they're not understanding why they got beaten is the fact that there is no 4-1-1. There is no draws in the GM system. It is you were 4-2 as well as they were 4-2, because a draw, or what you perceive to be a draw, is a double loss. And also the resistance isn't the same as in Magic. So that's where I think a lot of people are going, this doesn't make sense, because in this other game I play, this is how they do it. And that is one of the things that, I mean, hopefully I know one of the Channel Fireball creators is writing an article about it, who will probably go way more in depth and explain it way better than I can right now. But yeah, just know that LSS is always watching. If they feel like something needs to be changed, they will look at results and they will evaluate and see where it goes. But at this point in time, best thing for everyone, just play to win. Play to get it done in 30 minutes. And like just swing for more.
When in doubt, swing for more. Yeah, that's a good slogan. That is a good slogan. All right. Well, I think that's covered us on this side, and we've already been going on for over an hour. Let's jump on to the Kirks corner.
How excited everyone is for Skirmish, which is a great thing. But yes, Kirks corner. Now this is something that not everyone's going to be excited about. Watch the live views drop as we go into talking about wrestling. Yay! And
we should officially just say it's a wrestling podcast, Fab/wrestling podcast. Right. We haven't actually had another pop culture.
We're a wrestling podcast with a Fab problem.
Yeah.
So over the weekend, Elimination Chamber happened, and the darkest timeline happened. The Miz cashed in the Money in the Bank that he didn't even win, which gets me. That just there gets me.
Hey, he won it, and he won it in a court of law, Ian. He won. He won it in a court of law.
Right. Just one last thing before we go on. Kitchen table. Hey, Louis. We are all learning the game in the US. It's hard to win in time. Yes, that is fair, and I do understand that. But yeah, the joy about these skirmish events is you're going to get a lot of games in. You're gonna speed stuff up. You will trust me. Just play KO, roll sixes. You'll get the games done in time.
Yeah.
There's my hot take for you, Louis.
Actually, I just need to shout him out. Thanks for watching today, but I watched your video about Skirmish, and it did give me the warm fuzzies. It certainly made my afternoon. Your video about Skirmish. So if this is just a personal thing, thank you. Made me feel we are hard at work here, and I do get down. So yeah, it was nice to listen to your enthusiasm and love for the game and Skirmish and what we're trying to do. So so without tearing up or my lip trembling, you got me right here, brother. Thank you.
Yeah. So Kale, at kitchen table, the learning can be difficult, but once you know what you're doing, games are very easy to get finished in 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe a little longer than that, but that's Kale just towering titans people, gets stuff done.
Hey, the McCreef Academy. Oh, hey, Tower number 9. Sorry, I wanted to make a shout out to Tower number 9.
And we're just about to go into the wrestling, so.
Yeah, but no, he can watch us on YouTube when it uploads. But yeah, Tower number 9. Shout out to Tower number 9. He did some great single man commentary today.
And he also picked up a win in the e-commerce that he won. Am I getting that right? I believe so. Maybe I'm mixing it up. But congrats on playing games. Congrats to everyone on playing games.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Tower number 9, yeah. Great commentary. He was doing some commentary over one of the UK, I believe, Armory events today. So, yeah, try and check out his... Actually, just my shout-outs for Tower number 9 and Tolerian Dropouts and Kitchen Table Games. Those are my, I don't know, A double plus double heart shout-outs for these guys. Are all doing great work.
It's great stuff. I also love that the dropouts stream is very sort of reminiscent of 1990s ECW / Stone Cold Steve Austin entranceway logos type. So kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Tower won the Compete. He won the Compete esport event. So
there we go.
That's pretty good. Big event.
Talking about big things that sucked this weekend. The Miz is your WWE champion in 2021. What the?
I don't understand the connection between big things that suck and the Miz, because clearly the Miz does not suck.
Well, he wasn't even in the Money in the Bank event. I mean, although then again, that's never meant anything.
Well, I was going to say the Miz is.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I believe Miz is going to be a transitional champ. I believe Big Bubbles Lashley is going to be your I will put 2 packs of Welcome to. I'll put whatever I win against whatever you win at Hobby Master this week. That Bobby Lashley will be the WWE champion by this time next week.
I'm thinking what else I can put up, because like I'll put up my self-respect, my dignity. What else can I chuck into this bet? Lord knows that's all I've got left these days. My beard. I'll put everything on this. I mean, what a journey the Miz has had this year from not even participating. So you always see this as a negative end, but I'm like the man who didn't participate in Money in the Bank.
Cashed in his Money in the Bank, failed, got hit back on a technicality, which opens up. Actually, what I'd love to see on next Monday is Otis come out and go, well, hang on, if the technicality of you didn't cash it in, you got that back. You never won it. He should take that to court and get it back, and Otis should be the new champion.
I can't believe you can't see the hero story so clearly laid out. The slings and arrows of adversity have been smashed by Mike Mizanin. I mean, this is truly heroic stuff. This is like, Hogan body slamming Andre.
To be fair, there's one thing that has happened on the internet this week that has involved The Miz that I was like, actually, I'd be down for that. The Miz has come out and said he wants to play Johnny Cage in the new Mortal Kombat 2 movie. I'm like, basically, he is Johnny Cage at this point. So it seems like a perfect casting.
Yeah, the star of many a marine films. No, I'm putting it all out the line. I don't care, because as you know, the smart Mark side of me says that Ian is possibly quite correct. But I don't like being a smart. I like being a Mark. The Mark within me says that this is going to be Miz is going to WrestleMania, and not just as some tag team comedy match or something like that. He is going to defend it at WrestleMania.
I was about to say, if Miz gets past next Monday, there's no way he's getting past Fastlane. There's no way in 2021.
Fastlane, is that even a pay-per-view?
WrestleMania.
Nothing happens on Fastlane. No changes happen on Fastlane. I'm not even going to dignify that pay-per-view by watching it.
Tell that to Randy Orton in the Fiend post. Was it 2018? Anyway, I think that is a nice short Kirks Corner, because we have been talking quite a bit today. So, yeah. Did you see Miz call Batista and John Cena Hollywood has-beens? Well, that's
I don't know, John Cena's never.
Well,
I don't know. Has he got started? I mean, I know.
I mean, technically, Miz has something there because John Cena isn't going to be at WrestleMania. Oh no, he couldn't be at the Rumble because he was currently filming the HBO spin-off series of Peacemaker. So technically, yeah, he's a small screen actor now.
Yeah, but I mean, he's getting a spin-off for a movie that hasn't come out yet.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot of confidence there. But Batista, no, it's a bit rough. But I love all my wrestling actors. There's never been a bad movie with a wrestler acting in it. Never.
I think Nathan Jones will say differently.
Don't make us do a watch along of Ready to Rumble, one of the greatest wrestling films of all time. Even has a John Cena appearance, John Cena cameo in Ready to Rumble.
Ironically, it wasn't Oliver Platt that won the belt. Like of the actor wrestlers that you could have at least viably seen winning a belt as spin-off. Yeah. Because can you imagine I mean, obviously King was in the WWE at the time, but if they'd been able to get the King versus the King, would have been a pretty good match.
All right.
It wouldn't have been a good match. It would have been an interesting match.
All right. Next week, Ian, Kirk's Corner will be wrestling our top three. Oh, well, I could do like top 25. Say maybe our top 3 wrestling films of all time, and that can be about wrestling or with wrestlers in it. So yeah, I've got it. How many times have I seen No Holds Barred? Too many times.
All right.
Yeah, so, Rip, the greatest. Jingle
All the Way.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll go through. There's some. I'm just trying to think. Sorry, who was the governor that wasn't Schwarzenegger? Jesse, but Body Ventura has some epic sci-fi films.
He's been in some legitimately good movies, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah, true. I ain't got time to bleed. Best Jesse Ventura line.
All right, we are going to call it there. It's been over an hour 15. So thanks for watching, folks. We will be back next week with all the news about what happened in Skirmish, on whether or not The Miz is still your champion. So for now, thanks for watching, and wash your damn hands. We'll catch you next time.
Night all.